Ooh, indeed. Nine, 19, 24, 2200 hours. That motherfucker right there is where we're heading. We started an hour ago. We're at the top of Lone Mountain, or as the bench do say, EJ Peak. I believe that 2787 is the elevation. Boy howdy, we are gonna go find out. Hello. All 6 of you that watch this, if you're astute enough to observe, if I look down, everything's out of focus. So no, I'm not really looking through this to watch my feet for up close land nav or anything. I'm kind of just looking under it with both eyes at the ground. There is plenty of ambient light out from the moon. But I'd say especially as a civilian, hello, land nav with night vision? Dude, my guy, if you ain't walking on flat ground, shit is a challenge. The desert might look flat, but that's about where that begins and ends. And yes, I know I could simply adjust this to be able to see up close, but I like having it set to be able to look a little bit further out, scan further ahead than what's at my feet, because like I said, there's light enough out to do that. And if I really need to take a detailed look at something, we got a white light we can turn on and assess whatever needs assessing. I do have to say, that fucking breeze, real nice. Real nice. Would not have complained about that on the way up, but take what I can get. If it's only on the way down, it's only on the way down. Speaking of which, I'm gonna jinx myself, but just in case I go down the quick way, put my little gloves on. Protect my soft little hands. God, that is the one big drawback of having your gloves hanging from one of those cool little fast guy clips on your fucking shit, is that Murphy's Law being Murphy's Law, and Murphy just being kind of a dickhead, a funny little guy, you're always gonna have foliage, little twigs and shit in the very bottom of the fingertips of your gloves. And I never realized that until I've put the glove all the way on. Hello, tree. Not fucking that way. That's faux shizzle. Pro tip, don't break your fucking knees if you can help it, kiddos. one of those things that, well, you will heal from it, kind of just never feels the same. Also, I didn't mention this earlier because it didn't really feel relevant, but this is a monocular setup, mono 1. So only the left eye is getting the night vision treatment, my dude. Which is fine. Preferable, there my words are. Really, I've seen a lot of back and forth on hello, as I'm about to make a comment about depth perception. Giggles. I've seen a lot of back and forth on, you know, the internet where everybody's right all the time about everything. About monoculars being shit for depth perception because you're only using one eye, and I guess there's some validity to that argument. I'm not really smart enough to be able to tell one way or another, but kind of a broke bastard. And maybe someday I'll have dual tubes. Ain't gonna be any fucking day soon, I'll tell you that much. And the monocular, the single tube, honestly, that sounded like it had some girth to it. It's really worked just fine for me. Bit of a learning curve, but bit of a learning curve to everything. Once you get used to it, really not bad. Plus, I kind of like it because then I've got one eye that's never exposed to the tube, and while initially that might not seem like it's a pro and more of a con, I look at it as a pro because if I shut this thing off, fucking cable's in the way. Anyways, if I shut this thing off and roll it up and out of the way, my left eye kind of loses its natural night vision, but because the right eye was never exposed to the brightness of the tube, it's still adjusted to whatever the ambient light of my surroundings is. I guess that one's more of like a perspective thing, but I see that as a pro. Being able to retain natural night vision in at least one eye. Also, most dual tubes don't have a gain adjust function. They are set to fucking max gain all the time, and I honestly like being able to roll that back a little bit, run it about here, where it's, I'd say about half, or maybe more than half, because that's like all the way down, and then see it starts to come back. Like, it doesn't need to be fucking whoa all the way bright, especially on a night like this where there's plenty of fucking moonlight. If there was, you know, little to no moonlight and seeing what I was doing was more important than the fidelity of the picture surrounding what I was doing, then I could adjust the gain all the way up and just live with the little fucking pops of static, I guess is what it looks like. The noise, I think, is the technical term for that. Okay. Apologies for the intermission there. Decided to let gravity do most of the work through the more technical parts of the descent there, and speed up the process, as my Canadian friends would say. Sorry, if you live in Canada, you might be a good person, but because you live in Canada, you're inherently a cuck. Like I said, still might be a good person, but my fat little cankles are in pain. I think the rear diopter I need to adjust because the focus is weird. Fucking wind noise to the max, my dude. I guess it's not a bad focus. It's a good, like, close-ish, medium to far. I ain't gonna be fucking reading anything in my hands or getting any detail at my feet, but it's a moot point. It's the only thing I got in my right eye right now. It's a bunch of sweat. Sweaty sweat. Oh, it burns. Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. That's better. Need to adjust how my cables are being secured. The current setup isn't really cutting it. It's either the connection between the camera and the inline switch, the USB to USB part, or the fucking cord itself is preventing our mount from actually folding up as it should. Which is moderately annoying, but like not a BFD. I will fucking resist the urge for in and out. It is real, but I don't need it. Oh, fucking cheeseburger with grilled onions sounds bomb as fuck, though. Now the best part of this, slogging through the sand, which I might detour from that big fucking sandy wash. Plus, just my luck, I will have been the only motherfucker out here right up until my cankle. Some asshole on a side-by-side comes ripping through, runs my ass over, turns me into a fucking loop drop. Sweet bad fire pit, dude. It's one of those areas where humans do the things that humans like to do, like drive out to the desert to camp, and in true human fashion, they'll forego any real solitude and park 10 feet away from one another.